Oh, yeah, thank you, Byron. Jeez Louise, I was just muted. That's okay. I didn't say anything important. You know what I did? I just did the whole. By the way, when. Oh, Jeff said muted too.
22.
Claudio said mute. Oh my God, you guys. You guys. See, now, here's what was going on. So I was basically just getting all the rigmarole out of the way.
22. I got a 10 on its way.
Telling you what the show is, headlines and whatnot. A celebration of this particular day. And then I was just throwing to this. So,
It's going to be 088.
Hold on.
047 630. In the Tennessee Twins.
We have some breaking news out of Nashville. There's been another school shooting. This is happening at the Covenant School in Nashville. We're listening live to the police scanner from the Metro Nashville.
7701.
The shooter is dead. Here's what we know. This is all just happening within the last half hour to 45 minutes. Let's give us a second here. I
saw myself 800, 820, 830. We're going to be on sort 5.
I do not know what short five means. Here's where it occurred. I'll give you the numbers. There's supposed to be a press.
3 Charlie. Is your review, please? Yeah.
Let me go to YouTube real quick because there's supposed to be a press conference kicking off soon here. Where is that Fox Now channel? They always carry the good press conferences. So, all right, we'll pull this one up just in case they go live. All right, we're waiting on a press conference out of Nashville. Here's the situation. 3 children have been killed.
The vehicle's going to be registered to a German chinchilla. Should be out with a 2003 silver Toyota Camry. Driver's license is valid.
10-4, if you get us at 99, please.
All right, we're going to bring this down.
10-4, so you need a report number or...
Because this sounds like just standard police calls now. See if I can find where the press conference is. This occurred within the hour at Covenant School outside of Nashville, about 10 miles outside of Nashville. Here, we'll take a look at it here. 3 children are dead. This is a Christian school. I'm not sure what denomination, or if it's maybe just non-denominational Christian school kind of a deal. And let's put this over here. Boom, there we go. Okay. It's a school for it's a kindergarten through 6th grade. So that's what we're talking about. We're talking about kids, little kids. All right, CBS Breaking News is covering it, so they will have the press conference. Hold on, okay. Like I said, this is why we're a little bit frazzled, because the last 20 minutes of show prep has been pretty much concentrated on this. All right, so here we go. Here's the school. See, Google's already got it anointed with a Covenant School shooting banner. Looks like a beautiful school, huh? This does not look like, this looks like a nice school. This looks like a school where the tuition isn't cheap. I mean, look at that. Look, it's got that cool.
You got any? I believe you do. Medical Center Drive, Pierce Avenue. Bookmark the crash. It's going to be the silver Camry versus a...
Okay, so they're just talking about a car accident now on the scanner. I think they have moved to a different channel, which has been a problem with us scanner fans. The last few. Look at this. Okay, so we're looking around here. This is where the shooting occurred today. It's beautiful. Beautiful outside Nashville. So can we move around a little bit? No, it's not letting us move around. There we go. All right. Look at this. Tennessee is beautiful, man. All right, so this is the situation. Yeah, I mean, it looks just, we know very little. We know that the shooter is dead. We know that there are 3 children, 3 students. I call them children because we know that there aren't any students at this school that are older than, say, 11 years old. So there are 3 dead students. There are multiple others injured. I just recently heard on the scanner about 20 minutes ago that another Life Flight helicopter was being brought in because they discovered another injury. They didn't say student, they didn't say faculty. All they said was Life Flight is needed. We've got another injury that is related. So maybe they're still moving their way through the school and they're finding things. We don't know who the shooter is. We have no description of the shooter. We don't know. Like I said, this is all just now occurring. Let's eavesdrop just for a moment on CBS News coverage of this out of, there we go. Okay.
Just 23, and we're not including the people who died today.
Right, a total of 5. Possibly that count includes the shooter. You know, this is information that we're still working to confirm how the shooter got into the school. My husband is there, and he said that they're discussing with some of the faculty that they're texting that this person may have shot through the door. This person may have been able to shoot out a locked door. Nick Barris is there, and he's gathering everything he can to give us some on-the-ground details. Nick, what do you know now?
Yeah, we are just in preparation now for a news conference that's supposed to begin here
this
at the
guy
staging area
cosplaying
sometime within the
Dooski?
next 5 to 10 minutes. Metro Police Don Aaron, I think, is just about to arrive, so hopefully we'll have a lot of these questions answered for you. We'll be carrying that, of course, live as soon as it begins. But again, I'm here at Hillsborough Road and Burton Hills Road, and I heard what you were both discussing about how this shooter perhaps made it into the school. Some of the individuals we've talked to that have walked their way down from the school tell us the same thing. Now, this has not been confirmed by law enforcement, but that the shooter made his way in, or her way in, I guess we don't have an ID on that individual yet, by shooting through one of the locked doors and shattering the glass, making the way in at that point. And again, we don't have confirmation yet whether or not the deceased adults, one of them is the shooter or not. But we know now the total death toll is at 5, and still a lot of questions remain. They have the area still blocked off. You hear the helicopters overhead. No one making their way up and down Hillsborough Road along this stretch, or Burton Hills Road. It remains closed off. We did see several of the school buses loaded with children making their way from Covenant School to the area to be reunited with their parents down a distance here at Woodmont Church. But beyond that...
that was a particularly heartbreaking thing I heard on the scanner just before signing on. A police officer was on his radio on the scanner, and he was asking if they could bring out the snacks and milk for the students who had been gathered all in one safe location. I mean, this happened in a school. They got all the kids in one area, and you know, you hear this this officer going, "Hey, I think they're getting a little bit unruly. What do you say? Can we bring out the snacks and the milk now?" It was like a moment of normalcy when you've got, you know, a couple of hundred kids in a very anxious situation, to be sure, but they're kids, you know, so they're making noise and they're talking, and, you know, maybe some are scared, but others are just being kids in the moment, and they need their little snacks. Hey, let's get these kids some snacks and some milks. All right, let's see what they're talking about now.
And now I'm, receiving some information as I continue to sit with you. Is a year ago, Vicki, I happened to go with my mother-in-law who works at the school, who sits at the front desk. I attended a training. Every faculty member was there. I'm talking the cafeteria workers, the teachers,
We're watching
the
live
leadership.
coverage of
A
the
two-day
Covenant School
active
shooting
shooter
outside
training
Nashville
by
happening
Defend
right now.
Systems, which is a company owned by Brink Fiddler, a former Metro police officer. And in this training, they talked through past shootings, and here we are sitting at the anchor desk with numbers. I mean, just there are too many to count, these situations, but they were able to dissect these, talk about some of the vulnerabilities, and do the best they could moving forward to protect their grounds and their kids. And one of the things I've already said to you, which I think is just such a poignant point, is that when you are in a school with children who are chirping and talking and snacking and walking, you cannot always hear something down the hall. So, you know, gunshots were heard by my mother-in-law from the outside of the building. She was on a break, thank God. But who's to say people inside of the building on the other side heard what she did?
Sure. And I guess what she heard outside was they said when whoever it was shot through the door, that's what she was hearing.
Yeah, okay. That's a possibility at the moment. Don Aaron, he's very good.
All right, we're going to move out of that. How do I... Okay. All right, we're going to X out of that. I don't know. I'll keep my eyes peeled for a press conference. You folks in the chat room, I need my chat producers. You folks in the chat room do the same. Keep your eyes peeled for a press conference. If it pops up, then I'll try and jump over. But that's all we know. Shooting, Covenant School, kindergarten through 6th grade. 3 students are dead. 5 total are dead. 1 may or may not be the shooter. There is 0 information about the shooter, whether he's a man or we don't even know. We don't know whether he works there. I mean, there's all kinds of things going around on the interwebs. So you'll see stuff if you're on Twitter and you're following the Covenant School hashtag or Nashville or whatever. So we just don't know. We just don't know much. I'm going to keep this up, I think. Let me see. This is the scanner for Nashville, Metro Nashville. Let me reconnect. Okay, here's the latest update. 3 children killed, 2 adults. Mass shooting, Covenant School in Nashville. Officers engaged with the shooter. Shooter has now been confirmed as dead. Okay, there you go. The shooter is dead. Although I don't know. Is it good that he's dead? I always say, how do we want him dead? Don't seriously. Don't start with the saves us the money of a trial. The money of a trial is nothing. Stop it. No. If we can get some answers and we can figure out what this idiot was, if there's anything to be gleaned from putting this freak show under a microscope, I'm kind of for it. But this idea, you always hear people, that's good, he saved us the trial. You mean he saved us information, you lazy brain twit? If he'd have gone on trial, we'd have learned a whole bunch more about this guy. I don't know. But sometimes I do find a sense of macabre justice when they eat a bullet or when they get taken down. Certainly when they get taken down. That's got to be a feel-good. But man, I want to know. I want to know what this dude was thinking. What was his motivation? Aren't you interested? Don't you believe that, finding this shit out could lead to other discoveries about why people act this way? I mean, I do. I don't know. But we'll come back. We'll join that as we learn more information. I'll keep refreshing this. And you folks in the chat room, if you see the press conference pop up by Metro Nashville Police, let me know. And then I'll try and jump over and we'll join in. But as it is right now, 3 children killed in a mass shooting at Covenant School in Nashville. Officers engaged with the shooter. The shooter has been confirmed as dead. Now, this is the first time we're hearing that. We just eavesdropped on local CBS News. They did not have confirmation that he was dead, although they did report the rumor. Here we're seeing confirmation. And this comes from Metro Nashville Public Information. So Metro Nashville Public Information is saying the shooter is dead. Okay. So with that nice little ugly specter looming over us like a sort of Damocles for the next couple of hours as we learn worse and worse news, I'm sure. That's how these things always progress. I'm reminded at this moment of Uvalde, when Uvalde occurred, just as we were signing on, and we moved away from that story only to discover that it was far worse than what was being reported in the first hour. So fingers crossed on this one that we don't have a repeat of that. I mean, it's already tragic. It's already terrible. I mean, these are babies. This is kindergarten through 6th grade. Kindergarten through 6th grade, man. That's just somebody looking to create horror, right? I mean, killing babies, killing 6th graders in a Christian school. That's not a political message. I mean, that's certainly not. What could the political message of that be? That's just a monster. When you go after children, that's just a monster. Like, I understand. Okay, so an example of a shooting. The shooter who shot up the congressional softball game with all the congressmen. That guy I got that guy's motivation. You know, I understood. He was angry. He made a plan, and the plan actually made sense, and it matched his anger. We got this. I don't get. I don't get kids. I don't get little kids. I'm gonna wake up today. I'm gonna take my gun and I'm gonna slay a bunch of 9-year-olds. Yeah, I'd like to know what this dude's deal was. I would like to know what this guy was going through. Okay, so as we find more out, we'll cover that. Again, shooting, Covenant School, outside of Nashville. 3 children dead, 5 total dead, although a press conference is getting ready, so we'll see if those terrible numbers don't move up. All right, let's move into what today is, okay? Let's do that. Hi, Mark, it's Sam. Sam's here. We got Leslie here. Leslie, shooter was female. Where are you getting that? Where are you getting that? That is not. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying that's interesting because I've heard that reported, which is why a number of people are saying the oddly sounding phrase. And the shooter, whether they were a man or a woman, we don't know. They don't ever say that, right? That's not normal. So I've heard that a couple of times, and I've seen it. I've seen people like Leslie Collins say the shooter was female online, but where is that being reported? Like, where are we seeing that? See, I keep trying to move away from the story, but little bits of information keep popping up, and I'll see if I can find this myself. Boy, oh boy. How is this not? Wow. Huh. That's crazy. Lamar Jackson is out trending a school shooting with little kids involved. Well, that's what people are talking about. Leslie, I'm asking you where you heard the shooter was female. I'm trying to find that myself. Because that would be interesting. See, now I have more questions. Wait. Is a female. I'm seeing this now. Yeah. All right, Leslie, I'm seeing this now. It's being reported that the shooter is a female. All right, where is this? Is the press conference going on now? Oh, my God. I don't want to join this press conference already. Okay, see, that's weird. That is so strange. All right, let's see what this is. It looks like this is a press conference, but it's not set up the way a typical press conference is set up, so.
As a result of making an attack on this incident. But other than that, there have been no additional injuries to first responders or personnel responding to this. And as Don mentioned earlier, we will have further updates coming later on in the afternoon.
So on a typical day, there would be about 209 students inside the school and approximately 40 to 50 staff members, about 42 staff members. I'll take just a couple of questions before we go back.
Clear. So the 7 dead, and then the nature of injuries, how many injured do you know? You're being treated still, or injuries? I know first responders were.
An officer had a wound from cut glass. That is the only other injury that I'm aware of.
Do we know if the injuries to the students are critical or in a good condition?
The 3 students are deceased. The 3 students who were shot are deceased. 3 staff members who were shot are deceased.
6.
That's a total of 6 victims. And then you have the shooter who was engaged by 2 of our police officers, part of a 5-member team, and she is deceased for a total of 7 individuals. There are no other gunshot victims, non-lethal, that I'm aware of at present.
Yeah, it's being widely
Do you know how many people were
reported
shot?
now that it's
Do you
a
know how many
woman.
people were
I
shot
believe that must be.
before
They must
the
have
police
said that in the
engaged the
press
shooter?
conference before
No.
we joined.
Do you know if they shot anyone after they engaged the shooter? Do you know if the shooter was able to shoot anyone else?
We do not know who she is at this juncture. We're trying to identify her.
Okay.
She does appear to be in her teens.
Wow.
Again, with 2 assault-type rifles and at least 1 pistol.
Yeah, teen girl, Byron.
No, I'm not.
Was there an SRO or an SSO working at the school?
No, this is a church that operates a private school. There was no Metro Police personnel assigned to that building at any time. You said 2?
Yeah, the adults.
No, there are a total of 3 adults. 3 adults who have been fatally wounded.
Okay, one of them being the shooter?
No.
Okay,
So let me go over this again. You have a total of 6 victims, 3 students who are deceased, and 3 adult staff members from the school who are deceased. The shooter herself makes 7.
Do you know if one of the 3 adults maybe confronted her?
I do not.
You know,
there is video from the school that we are viewing now to try to learn exactly how all of this
happened. I'm telling
happened.
you, from the way this place looks, it looks to be a high-end
I cannot at this juncture, as you know, 5 of the 6 were transported. So we will get
From
that
what I know
information
about
later in the day.
high-end Christian schools, because I've got rich friends, they're expensive.
It
Those
is an
tuitions are
upper-level
not
part
cheap.
of the school that's kind of a
This
lobby-type area.
Christian
It was not in
school
a classroom per se.
isn't paying
All right,
for
we'll be back
security for students.
shortly
They're making money
with
hand
more
over
detail.
fist on tuition.
We'll tweet
the
out,
pastor of this church
give
better
you a
not be
15-minute
driving
or
a
so
Jaguar.
notice before the next one,
He
okay?
better not be in a Mercedes when they're too cheap to hire
Aren't you guys tired
armed
of covering
SEO
this?
officers
Aren't you guys tired of being here and
to
having
protect
to
these
cover
kids.
all
I
of
mean,
these mass
public
shootings?
schools we
You
pay
have
for, so
been
it's a
listening
no-brainer.
to
That's
officials
tax
discuss
money.
the school shooting in Nashville today. Police say they shot and wounded.
Public schools, you know, you get the local town cops because, you know, we all pay our tax money and at least we can justify that. Private schools aren't paying for private security, or at least, I mean, isn't that interesting? And then, you know, again, I'm skeptical. I'm not skeptical. I'm just flat out cynical when it comes to the way. I'm just saying this school looks like it probably preaches the prosperity doctrine, and I'm just thinking that unless this pastor is driving a reasonable car, maybe a Honda Accord, there is no reason that they shouldn't be paying for armed security at the school when even the rank and file plebes like us send our kids to public schools that have that. My kid's school does. My kid's school up in Plano. Every day I drop them off for school. I see the cops out there. It makes me happy. Pleased. All right, we can be done with that. It looks like the press conference is over. Again, there you have it. It looks like 7 total dead, including the shooter, who has inscrutably been revealed to be a teenage girl, which I never saw that coming. Teenage girl killing the babysitter slayers, a teenage girl slaying all of these babies, these kids. That's not even a joke. She could be a babysitter to some of these. Who knows? That's just an odd situation. A teen girl. I mean, I guess it's not as odd as like a grandma. You know, like if a grandma with a cotton-topped hairdo grandma in a kitchen coat busts in and stuff. Yeah, that'd be weird. But a teen girl, that's odd. Okay, so I don't know. We're off the playbook on this one, so we'll find out what's happening there. All right, let's get into today. Let's try and do a normal show, even despite that's sad, troubling news. Byron's absolutely right. Nothing's gonna change. Nothing's gonna change. Ain't nothing gonna change. But let me tell you, Byron, you know what's going to change? They're going to take TikTok away from teenagers because it's dangerous for America's kids. That's going to change. Kids are doing dances. Pedophiles are seeing them doing dances. Kids are showing other kids on TikTok how to puke after a meal. Bulimia is going to skyrocket for the kids. We here in the United States House of Representatives cares about America's children's safety. So let's ban TikTok. This is going to do nothing. It's going to do nothing. Look, I'd feel better if they said, you know what? We're going to put the National Guard stationed in the parking lot of every goddamn school in America until this nonsense stops. I'd be very fine with that. And then you get some people, well, children are now going to school in a war zone. Yeah. What? It's a war zone? The fuck don't you get about this? We got 3 dead little toddlers who got their little stories last night, got their little kiss on the forehead, who tucked themselves into bed, who woke up in a bad mood. I don't want to go to school, Mommy. And they went to school and they're dead. It is a war zone. National Guard, all the schools, at least 2 guys, drop them off. What are they doing? Are they hanging out on bases? I don't know. Deploy the National Guard to protect our fucking schools. I mean, if we can't trust private schools to pay, their exorbitant tuitions are rolling in, but look. They're building that new opera center. You can't pay some guy $15 an hour who's got a concealed carry and maybe some police or law enforcement background. You can't pay him, but how many cars you got in your garage, Pastor? All right, so people aren't going to take this seriously. People aren't going to take. I got a kid in middle school, right? So maybe for me, it's a little bit. I have legitimate concerns. Every fucking time I hear one of these stories, I'm like, oh, God, please don't be Texas. And if it's not Texas, I'm like, all right. And if it's Texas, then it's like, oh, God, where in Texas? Yeah. But yeah, nothing's going to change. Nothing's going to change. TikTok will be gone. TikTok will be gone because little underage girls dancing and then, learning how to puke. That's going to be gone because that's dangerous, see? And we must take action to preserve the safety of our children. Stop with your bullshit. The TikTok thing's about China. Stop with the for the kids bullshit because you don't give a shit about the kids. You really don't. We really don't. I'm not sitting here saying, take away the guns. No, we're not taking away the guns. That ship has sailed. The Second Amendment ain't going anywhere. Ain't nobody advocating for it other than the craziest of the crazies. It ain't going anywhere. Moderates and normal people are like, okay, it's staying. So now let's all reasonably get together and go, shut up about the taking the guns away and defunding the police. Get out of here. All right, let's reasonable people go, look. Obviously, this isn't going away in this era. Maybe we'll revisit it in 25 years. But right now, nobody talk about taking guns away from people, okay? So now that everybody's got guns, I'm fine with that, everybody's got guns. Now we need to at least come together and talk about some common sense ways to protect, innocence from lunacy. And that was not done today in Nashville. It wasn't. I don't know who this girl was. I don't know how the fuck she got a gun. I don't know how old she is. Apparently she's a teenager. I don't know if that means 18 and legal or whatever. I don't know if we're in Nashville, Tennessee. What can you be, 5 and own an automatic weapon? I don't know. I don't know what the rules are. But we need to have some common sense conversations about this stuff. Good Lord. All right, so here we go. Moving on. I apologize. Hold on. Do we have an update here? Okay. No update. All right, let's get into what today is, okay? High noon for March the 27th. March the 27th is the 86th day of the year. There are how many? 279 days, it says here, remaining until the end of the year. All right. Let's go back in history. Let's talk about some of the things that occurred previously on March the 27th. 1794 on
Only park in here, you're going to get more info.
All right, we're going to turn this down because that is really just going to distract me from doing a show. On this day in 1794, did you know the United States government establishes a permanent navy and authorizes the building of 6 frigates? Happy birthday, Navy! On this day in 1836, the Texas Revolution, on the orders of General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna. Let me try that again. General Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna. There you go. The Mexican Army massacres 342 Texian Army prisoners of war at Goliad. Oh, Goliad. Oh, revered, somber place. Here in Texas, 1915 on this day, Typhoid Mary, the first healthy carrier of disease ever identified in the United States, is put in quarantine for the second time, where she would remain for the rest of her life. Oh, this needs to be, has it ever been made? Has the story of Typhoid Mary ever been made? Oh, God, it would make such an amazing dark comedy. It really would. Typhoid Mary had typhoid fever, but she was a broke, poor, I think Irish immigrant who worked as a housekeeper for all of these like fancy upper class people. And she would go to work and she would get the whole family sick and they'd all die. And then they'd find out that she was sick and got them all sick. And then she'd get fired and then she'd get another job somewhere else. Typhoid Mary. Here's the other thing. Typhoid Mary, although she is a person, like this particular, when you talk about Typhoid Mary, we are talking about one person. But she isn't like the only one. There were hundreds of Typhoid Mary types. Poor people who had this disease, who were in the employ of wealthy people, who then the disease had been just running roughshod through poor people for a very long time. Nobody gave a shit. Poor people dying of some weird mystery disease. It was only after these, house cleaners and laundry and cooks and all this stuff who were coming out of these really poor, sickly neighborhoods, they started working for rich people, and the rich people started getting sick. And now it's a thing. I'm telling you, Typhoid Mary is a funny story. It's crazy. It would make an amazing dark comedy. Somebody needs to get on that. And a comedy because it's long enough. It's been long enough. On this day in 1998, the Food and Drug Administration approves Viagra for use as a treatment for erectile dysfunction. The first pill to be approved for this condition in the United States. Oh, my God. 1998, on this day, Viagra. Oh, geez. Jay Leno probably did a solid 10 minutes on Viagra later tonight in 1998. Viagra. That was like the punt. Everything was a joke. Everything. Viagra. Oh, God. It ain't going anywhere. You know why? Because it works. And, dudes like that it works. Let's do some birthdays very quickly. Born on this day in 1886, Ludwig Mies van der Rohe, one of the great architects in American history. Buildings from coast to coast. Mies van der Rohe, great American architect. Some of our most famous buildings were Mies van der Rohe buildings. Born on this day in 1899, Gloria Swanson, American actress, producer. I think Gloria Swanson was the one that was banging Joe Kennedy. And then like decades later, Joe Kennedy's son would start banging Marilyn Monroe. It was like a family tradition. Joe Kennedy got himself involved in Hollywood back in the early days of Hollywood and somehow ended up having an affair with Gloria Swanson. She was a movie star. That's all I know. Born on this day in 1914, Bud Schulberg. Bud Schulberg, American author, probably most famous for Harder They Fall. Great book. Bud Schulberg is a great writer, man. He won an Oscar for writing On the Waterfront. I could have been a contender. On the Waterfront was great. That was his words. But Bud Schulberg, for me, his absolute greatest work is a film, and I'm going to suggest this to you now, that is a mind blower of a film. It's called A Face in the Crowd. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of A Face in the Crowd, but it was decades ahead of its time. Face in the Crowd is about a hick, in and out of jail, kind of a con man, kind of a troublemaker, a hooligan, but he's charming as hell. And he plays an instrument. So he's fun. Like, he's a bad drunk, and he'll start a fight in the bar, and then he'll steal your money, and he'll run a shell game on you, and he's all kinds of bad stuff in and out of jail. But he's charismatic, and he plays guitar. And over in this movie, he's locked up in jail when a local radio station decides to drop by the jail and interview some of the people in jail. And they interview this guy, and he becomes a hit. The character is played by Andy Griffith. Remember Andy Griffith from, Andy Griffith in a bad guy role. He is so amazing as the character Lonesome Rhodes in the film A Face in the Crowd. And what Bud Schulberg is telling us in 1955's A Face in the Crowd, something like that, what he's telling us is, America, beware of the cult of personality. Beware of this is in 1955. Andy Griffith. Oh, hell, he's on camera and he's Mr. Nice Guy and America just falls in love with him. And the minute the camera comes off, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. What are you? I told you to fire all the Jews. I don't want any Jews working here. You're back on the air. Well, howdy, America. How you doing? It's so good to be. That was the movie. And he became the most powerful man in America. And he was fucking evil, Andy Griffith. A Face in the Crowd, Bud Schulberg. If you've never seen it, it is absolutely amazing. One of the greatest films, one of my top 5 favorite films of all time. And it's the one that I always mention that people go, well, I never heard of that one. Well, you should. Bud Schulberg, he wrote it. Who directed it? Who directed A Face in the Crowd? I'm not sure. Anyway, A Face in the Crowd starring Andy Griffith. Greatest thing Andy Griffith's ever done. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Born on this day in 1921, Phil Chess of Chess Records, little Czechoslovakian Jewish man responsible for blues music in America. That's him, Phil Chess. 1950, born on this day, Tony Banks. Do you know who Tony Banks is? Tony Banks is the guy in Genesis you don't know. He's not Phil Collins. He's not Peter Gabriel. Hell, he's not even Mike the Mechanic Rutherford. He's Tony Banks. He's the keyboard player. Or is he keyboard player? I don't know what he is. See, I don't even know. Yeah, he's a keyboard player, I think. That's what Tony Banks is. Tony Banks, Genesis, born on this day in 1950. Born on this day in 1963. This was a crazy shock to my system. Born on this day in 1963, Randall Cunningham. Philadelphia Eagles great. Randall Cunningham. Why is this a shock to me? I had no idea Randall Cunningham was this close to my age. I thought Randall Cunningham was a grown-ass man when I thought Randall Cunningham was playing when I was like 5 years old. Apparently that's not the case. Randall Cunningham was the first great black quarterback. The first quarterback who wasn't white, who did things on the field that were so astounding but would seem quite pedestrian today. I mean, Cunningham was good. He had a cannon. Oh, boy. Anyway, happy birthday to you, Randall Cunningham. You're a ceiling breaker. You're a glass ceiling breaker in a lot of ways. I just don't know that you get the credit for it. He's the first good one. With all due respect to guys like Vince Evans wasn't a good quarterback. Doug Williams, yes, Doug Williams won a Super Bowl with the Washington Redskins. Doug Williams was not a great quarterback. Randall Cunningham was a great quarterback. Randall Cunningham was the first black quarterback to play in the NFL where people went, after him, we had Moran Moon. But look at what Moran Moon had to go through in order to finally prove himself in the NFL. Moran Moon got cut by every team in the NFL because black guys couldn't be quarterbacks and he refused to switch to another position. So he goes up to Canada and he wins 4 consecutive titles in Canada before he gets to come back to America and finally play in the NFL as an old man, basically. His best prime years were up there in Canada. He comes down here, lights up the league. Anyway, Randall Cunningham. Randall Cunningham was the first black quarterback where I think people started going, maybe we're a little bit wrong on this black guys can't be quarterbacks bid. Maybe we ought to rethink this. Born on this day in 1963, Quentin Tarantino draft. Yeah. Yes. We're doing a Quentin Tarantino draft on his birthday. First, I got to let the dog in. Freaking dog, you hear her? Oh, geez, she's been barking out there. Hold on, guys. Give me a second. I shall return. Yeah, I'm coming. All right, go. Get in. Come on. Move. Do all your barking. Get all your barking out of the way. What's the squirrel situation? I don't want to look out that window and see a squirrel walking on that grass. You got it covered? All right. That's the dog. That's CeeLo. Yeah, Ross. Ross is right. Cunningham could scramble. Cunningham could do it all, man. Hold on. Let me try and fix this. Put this up. We'll angle this down. Now I feel like a do they know it's Christmas? Now I feel like that. Maybe I put it right here. Yeah, I think this is more. All right. What are we doing? We're doing a Quentin Tarantino draft. That's right. Quentin Tarantino is one of my all-time favorite film directors. He's never made anything bad. Everything Quentin Tarantino does, I'll watch. And at the end of it, even if I don't love it, I'll be like, that was worth watching. That dazzled my senses for a few hours. We're okay. All right, Quentin Tarantino draft. Here we go. Now, I feel like I need to say that Quentin Tarantino goes up there. So my favorite film director of all time is without question Stanley Kubrick. Love everything that he does. Second is like, it's a knife fight in second place between Martin Scorsese and Quentin Tarantino. And I don't know, depending on the day, depending on how I feel. Like today, I'm putting Quentin Tarantino at number 2 between Stanley Kubrick and my favorite directors of all time. So let's do a Quentin Tarantino draft where we celebrate and try to figure out, at least in my opinion, what his best films actually are. With the very first pick off the board, my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. I love this movie. And it might be benefiting from the fact that I recently watched it, but Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. Love it. With the second pick in the Quentin Tarantino draft, we are taking second pick overall. Reservoir Dogs. Reservoir Dogs. That's right. The movie that he burst onto the scene with. It was simple. It was stark. It was unlike anything that we've ever seen before, and I loved it. Actually, it was unlike anything we'd ever seen before while being curiously familiar. It had low-budget caper vibes with top-tier acting and dialogue and scripting. Reservoir Dogs still holds up. Made my son watch it a couple months ago. He's like, that movie's pretty badass, Dad. I'm going to go, yeah, I know it is. I know it's badass. Thank you. Number 3 off the board in the Quentin Tarantino draft, we're going Inglourious Bastards, killing Nazis. I love it. I love Inglourious Bastards at number 3. Number 4, we're going Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction. Still great. His much awaited and ballyhooed follow-up to Reservoir Dogs, Pulp Fiction. Won the Candy Or at France. Probably the best movie of that year. Didn't win best movie, but there you go. All right. Pick number 4 is Pulp Fiction. And with the 5th pick, the last one off the board, and I can't tell you how difficult this was. There are so many. We're inviting people to camp. You know that. There are so many other good quality choices here in the Quentin Tarantino filmography. But I'll tell you what I went with, and some of you are going to be mad. I went with Django. Django number 5. That's right. Of the official draft picks, number 1, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Reservoir Dogs at number 2. Inglourious Bastards at 3. Pulp Fiction at 4. Django at 5. But we're giving some camp invites away. That's right. We've got the Kill Bills. We've got Jackie Brown coming to camp. Dusk Till Dawn. I still love Dusk Till Dawn, even though I don't even mind Quentin Tarantino acting in it. Yeah, it's good. And we're gonna invite The Hateful Eight. The Hateful Eight, which I love. Here's what I love about Hateful Eight. And a lot of people were like, it wasn't as good. No, it was every bit as good. It was just not what. It's just not maybe what you've become accustomed to in a Quentin Tarantino film. What the Hateful Eight was a return to Reservoir Dogs. And Reservoir Dogs being number 2 on my list, you best know that I liked it. more dialogue driven. Single set could have been a play. The Hateful Eight, they were locked up in a cabin during a blizzard, and it's all of these distinct personalities being forced to wait out this blizzard together. It was amazing. It's amazing. I love the Hateful Eight. More birthdays, though. Born on this day in 1969, Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey having a birthday. She's a lunatic, isn't she? Isn't she just the nuttiest? Although she's not so much anymore, right? Somebody got a handle on her. Somebody intervened on her. Like, okay, so it'd be like if somebody had intervened on Kanye 2 years earlier. Right? Like if somebody had stepped in, they did that for Mariah Carey. And I think they kind of kept her. She's okay now, right? Like, yeah, she's okay. I think she's okay. Born on this day in 1975, Fergie, Fergalicious. I never, Fergie, she's good on stage. She's like, oh, that chick's having fun. That chick deserves to be up there. That's about the extent of my adulation for Fergie, Like, I got friends like, Fergie's so hot. I'm like, yeah, is she? Yeah. She's fit, I guess. She's in shape. Could say that about her. I don't know, Fergie, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday in you and your lumps. Born on this day in 1975. Born on this day in we're doing this. We're moving on. Yeah. Dead on this day. Now let's move into some of the people who have passed away. Dead on this day in 1968, Yuri Gagarin. Yuri, everyone's favorite cosmonaut. First man in space. That was an American. Not one. Yuri Gagarin's first man in space. Yuri Gagarin, cosmonaut. Dead on this day in 1968. Did he die? Oh, God, he died in 1968. Oh, God, it must have been some kind of... How did Yuri Gagarin die? Did he blow up? Did they blow up Yuri Gagarin? I think they blew up Yuri Gagarin. On March 27th, 1968, while on a routine training flight from Chekhovlovskov Air Base, Gagarin and flight instructor Vladimir Seryogin died when their MiG-15 crashed near the town of Okay. All right, he died in a plane. That's a terrible thing. All right, there you go. Yuri Gagarin, first man in space, dead on this day, 1968. Dead on this day in 2002, Milton Berle. Milton Berle. That guy was supposed to be a legendary asshole. Legendary asshole. Which, this is kind of a thing. It's kind of a thing. Like a lot of well, okay, so I can tell you from firsthand experience, knowing a shit ton of stand-up comedians, a lot of them are assholes. A lot of them, that's sort of like part of their personality. A lot of them are way darker than you think they are. A lot of them are miserable stand-up comedians. Milton Berle kind of fits into that. Milton Berle wasn't necessarily a stand-up comedian because I don't know that they had what we would today identify as stand-up comedy back then. They had people standing up and telling jokes, but it's not the same thing. He was miserable, Milton Berle. Supposedly had a giant horse dick, too. Milton Berle. That's what they said. Milton Berle. He's dead. Died on this day in 2002. Also dead on this day in 2002. Another guy rumored to have a big horse dick. What is this? Death of the Horse Dick Day? Dudley Moore. Little Dudley Moore. Little tiny, muppety Dudley Moore. If you came from the 70s and early 80s, you remember Dudley Moore. If you didn't come from that time period, you don't know who the fuck Dudley Moore is. Because Dudley Moore ain't exactly stood the test of time. He played Arthur. He was in the movie Arthur. He was in 10. I guess 10 was his big breakthrough, but he's a superstar in England. He had been a superstar in England as part of the Dudley Moore Peter Cook comedy team for years and years. Peter Cook, very funny. Peter Cook's a guy who never had the big movies in America like Dudley Moore did, but Peter Cook, very funny. Dudley Moore, dead on this day of 2002. Do you remember Dudley Moore Death Watch? I do. He died. He was sick. He was like rumored to have been dying for like a long time. And I do remember being on Dudley Moore Death Watch. Because Dudley Moore, if you're my generation, you like Dudley Moore. He's Arthur. He was so funny as Arthur. So funny. Arthur made alcoholism charming. Arthur made alcoholism seem like it could be okay. I mean, as long as you were super rich. If you were super rich and an alcoholic, You know what? That's the message of Arthur. If you're super rich and you want to be an alcoholic, you might have a lot of fun. That's a great movie, Arthur. And then they made Arthur on the Rocks, and that was just stupid. It was like they took all the... Wasn't Arthur on the Rocks about him being sober? Nobody wanted to see Arthur sober. It's not a thing. The whole hook on Arthur was that he was drunk. They never sobered up Otis, the drunk, on Mayberry. They never like had some moment of conscience in the later seasons where they thought, we need to get Otis some help. They just let Otis be the town drunk, because that's, But he should have gotten help. Not everybody gets help. Otis was a depiction of a drunk who did not seek help. Were you telling me that's not a real thing in society? Anyway, dead on this day in 2002, filmmaking great, Austrian-born American director, Billy Wilder. Billy Wilder lived a long time, man. Dude was born in 1906, died in 2002. Billy Wilder, Some Like It Hot. He made a whole bunch of movies. We don't have time to go into it. Dead on this day in 2016. Someone creeped me out for the majority of my childhood. Mother Angelica. Do you guys remember Mother Angelica? She died in 2016. Mother Angelica was that little old mean-looking nun that came on cable TV like late at night in the 1980s and 90s. And she wore the habit and she just stared at the camera and she was old. It was like a tight face shot for the whole time that she was on. And she was so mean and she was so snarky and she just, man, I used to watch her and be like, I hate this lady. This lady does not like me. I do not like this. She was scary. There was like a scary, evil, and I was Catholic. So it wasn't like she was my introduction to nuns. I just thought she nailed the role perfectly. Mother Angelica, dead on this day in 2016. American Catholic, religious television host, media personality, nun. All right, there you have it. Yeah, KB, Kevin remembers Mother Angelica. She was not fun. She was not cool. Not cool, Mother Angelica. Not cool. Let's see here. All right, that does it. So we went through the history of the day. We went through the birthdays. We talked about some of the people who have passed away. What do you say we move into the things that are making conversation on this day? The headlines, the hot topics, the current events, the trends, all the things that people are buzzing about. I bring to you now in what we like to refer to as rip and read fashion. I tell you what's trending. I give you a little bit of a hot take, or I explain to you why it's trending, give you a hot take, we move on. Of course, first and foremost, we've got the Covenant school shooting. We started off the show today talking about this. Let's see what the update is. Okay, no real updates other than a shooting has occurred at a kindergarten through 6th grade Christian school outside Nashville, the Covenant School outside of Nashville. There are 3 children who have been shot and killed. There are 3 staffers at the school who have been shot and killed. And there is 1 gunman who has been shot and killed. Total death count, including the gunman, 7. 7 as of right now. That number might go up. I don't know. Numerous people have been rushed to the hospital with gunshot wounds. There are many injured. Keep a good thought. For me, with the limited information that we have on this, the most interesting piece seems to be that the shooter was a teenage girl. The babysitter shooter. That is what this looks like. If any of those news... Let's see here. What is the latest? Okay, so the latest. Let me see here. Nashville. Is there anything official? Man, if you guys noticed, a lot more ads on Twitter. A lot more. They must be making money. He's got to make up. Twitter was evaluated yesterday at $20 billion, even though he paid $46 for it like a couple of months ago. And then, with the $8 a month to get your blue check, $8 a month, and all the bells and whistles that come with paying for your blue check. So he's making that. A lot of people are doing that. And now it seems like there's just not pop-ups, but like ads in every thread. It's just, well, they're making money. And it's all bullshit I don't need, like survival knives. I don't need a survival knife. ain't surviving, okay? If it comes down to a situation where I am in need of a specific knife for my survival, I'm not surviving. Not only am I not surviving, I don't want to survive. I don't want to live in a world, all right, for the next 25 years, you're going to live by everything you can kill and cook with that knife. Yeah, no, I don't think so. That's not for me. That's not, I'm good. I'm going to go, while everybody's running in the streets and burning everything down, I'm going to hit some of the medicine cabinets of these houses around here, and I'm going to OD on whatever the hell I find from these rich fucks. I'm just going to take it all. I'm going to take it all. I'm going to lay down, maybe on a floaty in the pool. Who knows? Twitter trying to sell me a survival knife. I ain't surviving. If I need a knife, I ain't surviving. Let's see here. So here's the latest from the AP. This was published just a few seconds ago, 10 seconds ago. It says 3 children, 3 adults fatally shot at Nashville grade school. A female shooter wielding 2 assault-style rifles and a pistol killed 3 students and 3 adults at a private Christian school in Nashville on Monday. So I guess the next thing that I really need to know is a female shooter being described as a teen. So what are we talking about here? Are we talking about 13 or are we talking about 19? Right? There is a difference. I mean, you know, it's all terrible, but just for my own trying to figure out what's going on here. Because if this is a 13-year-old teen girl kicking in the doors of a private Christian school and just slaying babies, if this is just a 13-year-old, I don't know what that is, right? If this is some 19-year-old off to college, radicalized, you know, 19-year-old girl, I don't know. I'm struggling here to figure out, just crazy is crazy. Don't try and figure out crazy, right? I guess that's what happens. We drive ourselves crazy trying to figure out the logic behind the actions of crazy people. Can't do that. But I want to know. The violence occurred at Covenant School, a Presbyterian school, for about 200 students from preschool through 6th grade. The killings come as communities around the nation are reeling from a spate of school violence, including the massacre at an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas last year. Okay. All right, developing ... as we say on this story. Man, really want to know about this teen girl. I want an age. It's the first thing I want to know the age. What? It'll be like 16. She was going to be 17 next week. Like, oh, I don't know what to do with that. I don't know what to do with 16 into 17. 19, I can think, oh, radicalized, she's on her way to college. She's a woman. I don't know. But then the guns, that doesn't fit. Like if this is like, my body, my choice, you know what I mean? I'm trying to find some logic, some absurd logic, no doubt. But I'm trying to, like, what could the motivation of the crazy person be? A teenage girl. All right, let's move into some other things that are trending. We'll follow that as new developments become available. Israel is trending. Israel is trending because Israel's in full meltdown mood. They got, apparently this Netanyahu dude. Apparently Trump got nothing on Netanyahu. Netanyahu, I thought he keeps getting kicked out. He gets kicked out, then he comes back. I don't know, he's the prime minister of Israel. He's part of what's known as the Likud party. The Likud party is the take no shit party. The Likud party basically wants to be at war with everybody. They want to show Israeli strength. They're very militant. Not militant. I shouldn't say militant. Although they are militarily driven. I mean, that is the tough guy party of the Israeli people. So something occurred where he announced over the weekend, Netanyahu, who's already tenuously positioned as the prime minister. He doesn't have a whole lot of support. As I said, he's in, he's out, he's in, he's out, he's in, he's out. He announced a whole bunch of sweeping changes to what are essentially constitutional changes as they relate to the Supreme Court of Israel. The people went nuts. When he announced this, the people went nuts. There's only 10 million people in Israel. There's 10 million people in Israel, okay? It's population, 10 million people in Israel. Over 700,000 people took to the streets in protest over the past 48 hours in Israel. Think about that. 700,000 out of a population of 10 million. That's crazy. So he's in some trouble. So there's some stuff going on. And today, this morning, he announced, because of all of this civil unrest, all of the people in the streets, all the people saying, no, you, Mr. Probably going to jail for a bunch of stuff, you do not get to tinker with the Supreme Court of Israel. That's what the people said. So today he said, all right, I was kidding. What? You people can't take a joke? Fine. So this morning he said that, yeah, but never mind. I was kidding, basically. He didn't say he was kidding, but I'm sure that's how he wanted to present it. Netanyahu suspends judicial overhaul after mass protests across Israel. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Monday said he was delaying his coalition's judicial overhaul legislation after mass protests and a general strike that affected much of the country. So that's why we're hearing about Israel. Tornadoes. We had tornadoes throughout the South. Scary-ass tornadoes, man. Let me tell you, Tennessee got walloped. A town called Silver Springs, a town called Rolling. Oh, here, I'll just give it to you. You know what? Because one of these towns, there was some drone footage going around. Oh, my God. Over the weekend, I don't know if this town was devastated. Rolling Springs? I don't know. I want to make sure I get the name of the town right. Communities in the South awoke Monday morning, reeling from a tornado outbreak and powerful thunderstorms. At least 27 tornadoes were reported across 5 states: Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and Tennessee. Officials said at least 21 people died in Mississippi, where one long track twister left a trail of destruction for about 59 miles. Okay, that's the one where Silver City and Rolling Springs are. There was at least one storm-related death in Alabama, where officials said a man succumbed to his injuries after being rescued by first responders. All right, so what are we looking at? 21 people dead in Mississippi, and one, so 22. So 22 people died from tornadoes this weekend. I'm telling you, man, that's the kind of shit you think people take. Go ahead. Take tomorrow for granted. Go ahead. Stay mad at that person today for no reason. Let's just hope you drive home safe, because your next breath is not guaranteed. I mean, these people, middle of the night, settled in for bed. I think this was Saturday night, or was it Friday? I'm not sure. Whatever, weekend night. Entire town flattened. Unbelievable. Talk about flattening. Some spirits have been flattened, that's for sure. I'm sure a number of the spirits there at league offices are down right now. The Final Four has been established, ladies and gentlemen. After 3 weeks of tournament nonsense, the NCAA Final Four. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. This is like such a bad situation for the NCAA. I mean, they're going to spin it like it's not a bad situation, but it is. There are no big teams. UConn. Okay, a number 4. UConn's a number 4. Okay. All right, so a number 4. There are no number 1s. There are no major universities with coast-to-coast fan bases where you can count on, the city of New York and Portland, Oregon tuning in, because, that's what happens when Duke or Kentucky or, teams like Indiana, teams like that play. Man, it is I didn't even know half these teams had teams, So the Final Four has been established. It says here, UConn. You got UConn. Who you got? You got UConn in the Final Four. UConn is playing Miami Saturday night. So you got UConn in Miami. Then you got, is it Florida Atlantic? Then you got Florida Atlantic University and San Diego State. So the Final Four for March Madness is San Diego State University taking on Florida Atlantic. And then later Saturday night, you'll have Miami. Miami's got a basketball program? I mean, I know they do, but Miami taking on UConn. I mean, if I was betting the kids' graduation money, I would say UConn, only because they're the team that I've heard of having success in the NCAA tournament. I don't know. This is, but at any rate, a bunch of small schools without national alumni. UConn is their saving grace because UConn is a national brand as far as NCAA basketball goes, and UConn crushes the New York City market. So they got the New York City market. A lot of people in New York go to UConn. You know, it's right there. It's a big New York City college. So that's it. That's the saving. Miami's got Miami, but to those people down there, that's not a basketball culture. I don't know that there's any crazy March Madness going on in Miami for the Hurricanes basketball team. Certainly there is at San Diego State, but again, people San Diego, it's not basketball nuttiness down there. They're more interested in Comic-Con. It's not basketball. And then the other one, Florida Atlantic. I don't know. Anyway, I'll watch. Although honestly, if I'm betting the kids college money, I got to think that it's going to be UConn. UConn. Okay, here's what I got. I got UConn. I got UConn over Miami, and I got Florida Atlantic over San Diego State, and I got UConn destroying Florida Atlantic on national TV. Florida Atlantic looks good. No, they do. They do look good. They don't look like. I'm just saying this run has got it. But here is the upside. Here is the upside. If a small one of those tiny little schools, whether it's Florida Atlantic or San Diego State, one of those underdog type things, if at halftime of that game, if they're up, you are going to see TV ratings skyrocket. You're going to see people start to tune in, because if we end up with an opportunity here to have Florida Atlantic winning the NCAA tournament in 2023, they'll make a freaking movie about that. I mean, Florida Atlantic, it's really good for parity. When the tournament likes to argue that the 64, 66 teams that they choose, they're chosen with a keen eye towards parity. This would certainly be parity. We got some 5 seeds. We got a 9 seed in here. I don't know. Anyway, enough sports talk. Final Four. The league is upset. the NCAA is like, God damn it. Why did Kentucky have to crap? All right, let's move on. Brain implants. Elon Musk is trending with this. Elon Musk got another company. It's called Neuralink. And he is, oh boy, tell me about it. All right, so come on, man. Put your thinking caps on. Musk's brain implant company is in search of human trial partners, okay? So Elon Musk has this company where he wants to start inserting things into people's brains, to sort of be able to, I don't know, he's saying he can cure blindness potentially, paralysis, all of these things. All of these things can potentially be changed with research into these brain implants, which I am all for. I'm all for research. I'm all for science. I'm all for what are you guys going to do next? Fix something cool, right? I don't know, man. All I know is that my rule with cell phones, my rule with cars, my rule with anything, and certainly when it comes to implanting things in my brain, my rule is never be first through the door. Do not be an early adopter. The early adopters, you go through your guy number 4 to have this brain implant thing. It's free. Yeah, but then you spend the next 30 years of your life uncontrollably pissing your pants. Well, we didn't see that side effect coming. Sorry, but it was free. Yeah, but I'm 50 years old and I pee my pants all the time. Publicly. It's humiliating. You don't know. You don't want to be first generation brain implant guy. You got to be, brain implant guy? Brady, you want to be generation 1000. You need them to have worked all the bugs out. Elon Musk's brain implant company, Neuralink, has approached one of the biggest U.S. neurosurgery centers as a potential clinical trial. Don't they got to ask permission to do this? You can't just do, this is Mengele shit. You can't just start doing, hold on, there's got to be, right? You can't just start going, got an idea about sticking a spark plug in someone's head. You want to try it? Yeah, let's try it. Hey, do you want to get a spark plug put in your brain, homeless dude? Okay, how much? Bottle of Ripple and $20? Done. Shouldn't there be somebody, I don't know, Doesn't seem like that should be done, but apparently he's out there doing it. Elon Musk's brain implant company, Neuralink, has approached one of the biggest U.S. neurosurgery centers as a potential clinical trial partners as it prepares to test its devices on humans. Oh, okay, here you go. Once regulators allow for it. This according to 6 people familiar with the matter. No, I don't know. I don't know if this is something that's happening next week, although I guess I don't know how long regulators have been looking into it. But hold your horses, man. Hold your horses. Okay, so here's something that was trending yesterday. And oh, did it get people mad. I got some thoughts. On digital blackface. Did you hear about this yesterday? New York Times, I guess, did a whole story on it. Yeah. They're not trying to gin people up for no reason. No, not at all. Digital blackface. Here's what digital blackface is being described as. Digital blackface involves white people play acting at being black, says Lauren Michelle Jackson, an author and culture critic, in an essay for Teen Vogue. Jackson says the internet thrives on white people laughing at exaggerated displays of blackness, reflecting a tendency among some to see black people as walking hyperbole. Okay, so this is like me, this would be like me reading a friend's tweet that is some kind of bad news, like it's a bad news tweet, and then I respond with a gif of Michael Jordan crying, right? You know, the crying Michael Jordan gif. Okay, so by doing that, I am engaging in digital blackface because I'm using the images of black people to convey what? Or are they saying that I'm hijacking the black experience? Fuck that! Shut up! You people are the racists. That way of thinking is completely racist. Are you telling me that because I'm a white person that I cannot or am somehow forbidden from or should know better than to share depictions of black culture? Black culture, got news for you, is American culture. Black culture has permeated every single corner of American society. So forgive me as a middle-aged white man, but, you know, black culture is not just black culture anymore. It's influential. It's powerful. It shapes fashion. It shapes discourse. It shapes everything. So the very idea that you're telling me that simply because of my skin color that I am incapable of relating authentically to the black experience or Michael Jordan crying memes, fuck you. You're the racist. You're not only the racist, but you're causing the problem. Do you see how there is real, I say this all the time, there are real examples of racism out there. Me sharing a meme with a black person doing something does not make me a racist and does not compound the problem. Focus your attention on real racist activities instead of calling people who could otherwise be seen as allies to you and your noble cause, instead of calling them racists. Because that's what you're doing. That's what, every time bullshit like this, when the race card is pointed out and it's printed in some story that is intended to make white people feel like they have to somehow separate the black experience from their own, that is more detrimental to society than just overt racism. Because overt racism, we understand. We know who those fucking people are. We know who the guys walking down the street with the Klan masks or the Nazi patch. We see them. They're not a problem. We can handle that. The real problem is that when somebody says something that you know damn well isn't intended to hurt or malign or somehow propagate the myth that one race is better than the other, when you know damn well that's not the intention, you still call them racist. Or maybe say that what they've done is racial. I mean, maybe that's what we need to do. This really bothers me. And I'll tell you why it bothers me. Because we can only know ourselves. We can only know ourselves what is deep in our darkest, hardest to get parts, right? Here's what I know about me. I know I'm a fucking good person. I do. I know I'm a good person. I know that I like humanity. I know that I'm not racist at all. I know that I am fascinated by cultures that differ from the one that I came from. And you know what? Being fascinated with other cultures as a white Irish Catholic, that's my culture. Being fascinated with other cultures that are different than the ones that I came from doesn't make me a racist. I think it makes me the opposite of a racist. I think it makes me somebody who wants to be as inclusive as possible, who says, hey, this is where I came from. You want to hear about my experience? What's that about? Tell me about your thing. I mean, this is new. There used to be a time in this country when we could all proudly talk about our different ethnic backgrounds and our different cultures. And in doing so, and in bringing allies, people who weren't necessarily a part of that genetic or ethnic line, inviting them to come be a part of it. When I was little, the biggest Mexican food chain in Chicago, when I was little, Pepe's. Pepe's tacos are very good tacos. You would go to Pepe's, and if it was your birthday, they would put a big giant sombrero on your little white suburban head. And then all of these Hispanic people at Pepe's would come out with, mariachi music, and they'd sing, and we'd all sing, and we'd love it. And it was just so much fun. You can't put a sombrero on a white kid anymore. Can you do that anymore? There was no malicious intent whatsoever, other than we were white people enjoying a night out and experiencing a different culture. At the end, there was no declaration of, you know what, this was great, but our culture's better and you people. There was none of that. But now we seem to have fallen into this area where everything's a gotcha. Everything, if an individual has an opportunity to somehow be presented as morally superior to somebody else, they can gotcha. And that's what this digital blackface bullshit is all about. These stories put out wholly by, I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt, and I'm going to say well-intended left-leaning writers. These stories do nothing but hurt the cause of getting us all to find some moderate common ground. That's all we need to do. We just need the normal people, white, black, Asian, gay, straight, whatever. We just need the normal people to stop fucking picking at each other. And this story, when you accuse any white person who's ever sent a meme that had a black face on it of being racist, or at the very least engaging in racially inappropriate tweeting, you're picking on the wrong people. You're just picking on the wrong people. I fucking hate this story. I'm sorry, I just hate it. Digital blackface. Ugh. All right, let's move on. Jonathan Majors. Do we know who Jonathan Majors is? Jonathan Majors is a big up-and-coming movie star. You know him if you saw him, because he's been in everything. I didn't know who Jonathan Majors was. I was like, when I heard the name pop up over the weekend, I was like, who the hell is who is this guy? Jonathan Majors. And then they showed a picture of him, and I go, oh, that dude. I know that dude. Jonathan Majors is a very hot, very employable, young black actor who's been in basically everything. He's got kind of a stupid guy face. Like, that's why I remember him. He's got a unique face. Like, his face kind of looks like stupid guy, but like scary stupid guy. Like stupid guy, but I'll fuck you up. Like that kind of scary stupid guy. He plays Creed in the Creed movies, right? Isn't he who Creed is fighting in this this new Creed movie that's out right now in theaters? Michael B. Williams, Michael J. Williams, Michael Jordan, Michael B. Jordan. I don't know, whatever that dude's name is. He's fighting this guy, Jonathan Majors. He's been in a bunch of stuff. Well, he's been arrested because apparently he beats up his girlfriend, or at least that's what they're saying. And, we don't need proof. We just need him to be accused, it to be splashed over every headline. And no matter how this story plays its way out, we all have that little story in our head. 10 years down the road, something will come up about Jonathan Major. Maybe he'll go on to have a nice, fruitful career, but something will come up and we'll go, yeah, he beats his girlfriend. Again, doesn't matter how this plays out. Doesn't matter if it's true, if it's not true. That genie's out of the bottle. Same thing with anybody ever accused of like doing shit with kids. That genie's out of the bottle. Those are some really bad. Hitting your wife, diddling kids. Even if it's not true, you don't come back to it. You don't come back from that. You know, Creed 3 actor Jonathan Majors was arrested in Manhattan on Saturday for allegedly choking his girlfriend in a domestic dispute. The Marvel star, he also plays Kang in the Marvel universe. The Marvel star was arrested around 11:15 p.m. Saturday morning inside an apartment in Chelsea after police responded to a 911 call. Here's how it went down. Police determined that Majors, 33, had been in a domestic dispute with an unnamed 30-year-old woman. The woman was Major's girlfriend. The woman, who had minor injuries to her head and neck, told police that she was assaulted. She was taken to an area hospital in stable condition, cops said. Majors was then taken into custody without incident, charged with strangulation, assault, and harassment, according to police. The actor, who was a presenter at the 2023 Oscars 2 weeks ago, has emerged as a star in recent films like Creed 2 and Ant-Man. He is no longer in police custody, bailed out. The Emmy-nominated actor and his girlfriend had reportedly got into an argument while taking a taxi home from a bar Friday evening in Brooklyn. The dispute started after Majors' girlfriend saw another woman texting him and confronted Majors. The actor reportedly got upset, grabbed her hand, and slapped her, this according to sources. The woman then claimed that Majors put his hands around her neck. The two spent the night at separate locations before she called police the following morning. Majors' reps have said he's done nothing wrong. We look forward to clearing his name and clearing all of this up. He himself could not be reached for comment. So there you go. All right. Jonathan Majors. Yeah, Devin Pike, that's true. He was on HBO's Lovecraft Country. That's where I first noticed him. And that's also where I first noticed his dumb guy look. He's got a dumb guy look. I didn't like Lovecraft Country though. I know. I'm like, people are like, I love that. I was like, this is stupid. Or it was slow. I don't know, something about it. First 3 episodes, I don't think I got out of the first 3 episodes. Which is sad because I love that, what's her name? Journey Smollett. Oh, yeah. Jussie Smollett's sister. Yeah. Jussie Smollett sucks. Journey Smollett does not. Journey Smollett's pretty awesome. Oh, God, she's gorgeous. She's so pretty. She is. That's all I'm saying. What else we got here? Mississippi meteorologist. So this was going on Friday night. You remember this? He's taking some heat, so let's talk about it. Remember Friday night I told you the story about it? We had all the tornadoes were coming around here in the... So there's a newsman during all the tornadoes, during the worst of it on Friday night. This guy's here. He's doing local news. Local, what do we call it? I don't know. It's got to be like a really small market, right? Like what would be the market? Whatever. He's a small market local weatherman during the tornadoes, and he does this. And if you tell me if you could tell what he did wrong.
Huge radar error on that, but that still shows likely a strong tornado here just east of Amory. How far to Amory are we talking about? Let's get a storm track that has everything I could put on it for a moment, and then I'm going to move that down just a little bit. Actually, I'm going to move it to the middle. I'm going to try to cram as much stuff on here as I can for a moment because I want to keep Amory City Grid on this. And again, assuming we're moving 65 miles per hour, I would say the western few streets in Amory were now less than 2 minutes away. This is a strong, life-threatening tornado that's going to move either extremely close to Amory or in through the northern part of the city of Amory. And here's the thing about this. Y'all trust me too much, okay? I tell you where it goes, and some of you are like, that's where it's going to go. But the reality is that this could be changing directions, okay? So Amory, we need to be in our tornado safe place. We got a new scan coming in here as we speak. Oh, man. Like north side of Amory, this is coming in. Oh, man. Dear Jesus, please help them. Amen. Okay, so this is going to track along Highway 25. Unfortunately, this is cut farther, a little bit more east. So,
okay, so as you can imagine, that was mixed, or that was met with some pretty. He said a prayer in the middle of these tornadoes, getting set to destroy, to kill some of the people that could potentially be in his listening audience, okay? He was overcome by the moment. He said a little prayer. He didn't stop the information so that he could then, dear Lord Jesus, I need to ask you in this moment, please, everybody join hands with me. Dear Lord Jesus, I need to ask you. He didn't do that. He didn't do that. He's in Mississippi, for crying out loud. These people are about to go through something that is absolutely horrendous. He paused for a split second and said, revealed that he's a Christian? Can't have that! Can't have a Christian on the air doing weather in Mississippi? Why not? Why not? Special situation here. Okay, now, look, if he's doing this all the time, it's like, okay, stop with the pushing of your thing. There's nothing wrong with this. Here's what happened with this guy. The internet went crazy on him. The internet went crazy on him for about a couple of hours, and then his news station had to put out, his news station, thankfully, is standing behind him, because his news station is normal. But people didn't like that. People wanted him fired. You know who wanted him fired? People not from Mississippi and people who didn't even see that. People who were not even affected by the tornadoes. People who don't even know who this guy is. Out of state stupid wanted him fired. Why? Going back to what we were talking about earlier. We all live for the gotcha. Oh, if we can just fuck up a stranger, somebody that we don't know, we don't care about, we don't think all that much about, but if they do something that we perceive to be even remotely close, we execute. We don't, there's no commensurate response or commensurate punishment or any sort of, let's think this through logically. No, let's just destroy him. They tried to take this man's job. This lovely, decent man. Oh, you hate him just because he's a Christian? Is that the reason you hate him? Because that tells me more about you, and that makes me be even more on that dude's side, because you're a dick. I'm not a Christian. I'm not a man of faith. But my Lord, man, my lack of faith certainly isn't threatened by him going on TV and saying, "Dear Jesus, please protect these people." That's an absolutely lovely thought. He shouldn't be doing that. Shut up, it's during a tornado. It's just like people want to be upset. People want to complain. People want to gotcha any chance they get. Any chance. All right, here's another one, though. Here's a funny one. This is another example of gotcha. And guess what, folks? It comes from another Mississippi news person. Now, this was hours before the tornado outbreak on a different channel. This news lady, however, was fired. Let's see. Let's break this one down, because this is a fun one to watch. You're going to want to watch this one. Okay, here we go. Let's show you this lady. She has been fired. She's apparently a longtime news anchor in this market. Seems like a nice old lady, but she got herself fired. So let's watch this. How'd she get fired? What'd she do? Let's watch.
Up with.
I think that'd be pretty cool.
Before we know it, she'd have a Snoop Dogg tattoo on her shoulder.
For shizzle, my nizzle.
I'm telling you. Julie, what you think about that?
Huh, she says.
Well, get this.
Okay. Okay, now, did you see what happened there? Did you see what she said, that nice old lady? So she was on TV. Apparently, Snoop Dogg came out. And the one thing she knows about Snoop Dogg, I mean, look at her. She doesn't know anything about Snoop Dogg. The one thing that she knows about Snoop Dogg is the phrase for shizzle my nizzle, which, first of all, is cute coming out of her, because she's trying to be contemporary when everybody knows that's like something 25-year-old Snoop Dogg said. That's not something that Snoop Dogg in his 50s has said in decades. So it's cute right from the start that little old granny says something like that. But she doesn't know what it means. She has no idea what it means. She doesn't know what nizzle is for. She's probably not even sure what shizzle is she doesn't know. She has no clue. Here's what I love about this, and we're going to watch it one more time. You know who does know? The black sports guy standing next to her. You know who does know? The off-screen female meteorologist who, when asked, what do you think about that? Says, okay. Like, she totally gets it. But let's watch the black sports guy. Let's see if we can really watch the moment when he realizes, oh my God, this crazy white lady.
Up with.
I think that'd be pretty cool.
Right here,
Before we know it, she'd have a Snoop Dogg tattoo on her shoulder.
For shizzle, my nizzle.
I'm telling you.
Okay, right there. Okay, so what we got there is the eyebrow raise for Shizzle by Nizzle, and they all turn and they talk to the meteorologist. His eyebrow is raised, and then he shakes his head a little bit. Let's watch that one more time without interrupting it. I want you to focus on his reaction to it. He knows, and then listen to what the disembodied meteorologist says off camera.
Up with.
I think that'd be pretty cool.
Before we know it, she'd have a Snoop Dogg tattoo on her shoulder.
For shizzle, my nizzle.
I'm telling you. Julie, what you think about that?
Well, get this.
Okay. Oh, that poor old lady got fired. She's gone. We got her. We got her. Obviously a racist whose career needed to be ended because she didn't know what a pop culture reference really meant and why a middle-aged white woman probably shouldn't be saying it on TV. Innocent mistake? 100%. Lost her job for it? Yeah. Tell me what's right. Speaking of other madness that's been happening in the world, Kanye West was trending over the weekend. He's still trending today. Kanye West is trending in conjunction with Jonah Hill, which is kind of weird. That was a weird thing to see trending together. I'm like, what is Jonah Hill doing with Kanye? I know Jonah Hill probably stands Kanye. Generationally appropriate, seems like it. But what the hell is this about? Well, here's what it's about. Kanye's fixed. Kanye, remember all the problems we were having with Kanye? Remember Kanye hating on Jews? Remember when Kanye, all that kind of stuff, Nazi this and hating on Jews and I'm going to go to war with Jew people. Remember all that stuff? It's fixed. Do you know what fixed it? Kanye watched 21 Jump Street. Kanye West tweeted over the weekend that after watching Jonah Hill's performance in 21 Jump Street, that he was no longer angry at Jews. Well, good, Kanye. Welcome back. Well, welcome back. Kanye West says he likes Jews again after watching movie with Jonah Hill. The rapper ascribes change of heart to seeing Jewish actor in 21 Jump Street following a series of extreme anti-Semitic remarks. Let's see here. In an Instagram post Saturday, Kanye West shared a promotional poster for the movie 21 Jump Street, a 2012 crime drama, or a 2012 crime comedy in which the Jewish actor co-starred alongside Channing Tatum. Watching Jonah Hill in 21 Jump Street made me like Jewish people again, Ye wrote. No one should take anger against one or two individuals and transform that into hatred towards millions of innocent people. It was not clear who he was referring to. No Christian can be labeled anti-Semite knowing that Jesus is a Jew, Ye added. Well, that's a weird, that's like some kind of indemnification you're trying to go for there, Ye? What's that about? What do you mean? You're a Christian, so what you say can't be anti-Semitic because you like Jesus and he's a Jew? I don't know. That's a funny story, though. It's so bizarre, so weird. The world is so weird. And that's a real story that people were talking about. Facial recognition clothing. Okay, so this is a new thing. Are we all worried about facial recognition? You criminals out there? That kind of thing? Apparently, there is a kind of clothing that you can wear if you don't want to be picked up on facial recognition software when out in public. All of these cameras, all these security cameras, all these things, they all have facial recognition. And when the FBI or the feds or somebody is looking for somebody in particular, they feed that picture into the facial recognition software. So anytime a street camera scans everybody. If it scans you and you match the thing the FBI is looking for, boom, they got you. They got a hit on facial recognition. Personally, I'm okay with this technology, but I'm not a criminal. I'm not really. Look, I don't like traffic cameras. I think those things are bullshit. But if we're looking for like a murderer, or if we're looking for like a real bad guy, and we have all these abilities to sort of track them throughout a city, I mean, that's just progress to me. It's an infringement on our rights. You're not that interesting. If you're not breaking the law, and if you're not doing anything wrong, ain't nobody just like following you for no reason. This is what I don't get. This goes back to the whole TikTok thing. The Chinese are using all your personal data. They're taking your stuff. The Chinese. I'm like, no, they're not. No, they're not. The Chinese is not even remotely interested in me. Individually, the Chinese could give a shit about me. I'm not that interesting. Same thing with this facial recognition shit. Now, if I become a criminal, yeah, I'm going to be like, I don't like facial recognition, but I'm not a criminal, so I'm not really worried about it. And it seems to me like maybe it's just going to catch other criminals. With that said, there is a new kind of clothing that has proven to make facial recognition go nuts. So here, I'm going to show this to you. This is called, what is it called? It is called, come on. Cap _ Able is what this fashion brand is called. Here, I'm going to show it to you. So there it is. All right. Boom. That's it. If you wear that shit, if you wear a sweater like that, facial recognition software goes nuts. Facial recognition will make your face, apparently, it'll make your face blurry. Apparently, it doesn't know how to pixelate all the different things that are going on there with the sweater. I mean, so if you're okay walking around and something like, here, I'll give you another example. Isn't there another sweater? They got another one for us? Hold on, let me see. Okay, there's the guy on the right. What, would they all got to be turtlenecks? Those are just ugly 80s Bill Cosby sweaters. That's all they are. Here, but that's all these things are. Look. How are these anti-facial recognition sweaters any different? I got a bag. I got a bag filled with stuff, like old clothes. I promise you, I've got some Bill Cosby sweaters in there. Yeah. Right? Look at this. How is that any different? How is that sweater any... Oh, I didn't share it. How is that sweater any different than these Cap _ Able sweaters that are being sold that promise to scramble any facial recognition software that attempts to take your picture? Well, here's one thing. The Cape Able sweaters that scramble facial recognition, want to know how much they cost in American dollars? $800. That's right. You want one of these old ugly Bill Cosby sweaters because you're afraid of being busted for that bank robbery you just committed. Look at these things. Cosby. It's the 80s. It's exactly what they are. These old 80s Cosby sweaters. Ooh, what's that one? The fat old guy running. I like that one. That's a good one. What's that? That one's got toothbrushes and combs? Oh, all right. All right. So if you want, if you're worried about facial recognition and all that kind of stuff, you've now got an option. You can go and you can spend $800 for a really ugly Bill Cosby sweater from the 80s that has been repurposed for modern times and called Tech Forward. Really? Tech Forward. The Texas Observer is trending right now. The Texas Observer. Why is the Texas Observer trending? The Texas Observer is a very, very well thought of, highly regarded, progressive Texas publication. They are very big in investigative reports, exposés and scandals. I mean, years. Molly Ivins used to be the editor of the Texas Journal. Texas Observer. So the Texas Observer has gone out of business. They announced to their staff last night in an email. They said, look, we're done. We're out of it. And people are saying here, inserted between the pages of the Texas Observer's November-December edition, mailed to readers 2 months late, was a letter explaining that delivery had been delayed to put together a special high-quality double issue, signed by the interim publisher and interim editor-in-chief. It touted the issue's thicker matte paper, whatever. They've been having problems for a couple of months getting their publication out. And part of the problem that's occurring is that, so it seems to me that there was an internal issue that occurred between the editor and someone who works in the business office. Someone who works in the business, and it came down, now these are probably two progressive-minded, liberal people working at the Observer. They basically got into a knife fight with each other over something that was something that was believed to have been bigoted or prejudiced. Some far lefty said something that another far lefty said was prejudiced, and it turned into this big lawsuit, and then people started taking sides in the newsroom. You see what I'm saying? Two liberal people at this vaunted, this greatly admired, elite, progressive Texas-based magazine that has been around for years and years. They were destroyed by their own liberal infighting because somebody in the office said something that somebody else said was prejudiced, and then when it got kicked up, it was deemed not to have been prejudiced, and that caused... Now, that's just one of the things. That's just one. There's a whole bunch of other things, money issues and all of that. But I'm reading this story and I'm reading this breakdown of all the things that have occurred at the Texas Observer over the last 6 months, and I'm like, you people did it to yourself. You people, somebody in a meeting said something. Somebody in that meeting responded by going, that's prejudiced. And another person said, no, it's not. And then a fight started among all of these people. Lawyers got involved. People quit. Entire staffs were fired. People took sides. I mean, there's a number of things that happened. In September, the Observer's editorial staff comprised 13 journalists. As of this month, after a rash of resignations and one firing, only 4 of them remained. The 5-person business team dwindled to 0 in February. The mass exodus, former staffers said, can be traced to a series of board decisions from the handling of a complaint by a former editor-in-chief, Tristan Atone. This is the one I was telling you about, which led to his resignation to promising executive editor Megan Kimball the top job in the interim. Dude resigned. Dude resigned because he didn't think... No, dude resigned because, okay, this is what it was. The woman, a black woman in the business department said something that the white guy editor thought was prejudiced. And that started a whole fight. And it ended with the editor going, well, I'm going to, because liberals love to fall on their sword, I'm going to resign on principle. Good luck to you, motherfucker. You're out of work. There ain't a whole lot of jobs for a liberal editor in Texas, dude. I don't know why you're walking away from this job. But it's a real shame because I always enjoyed the Observer. I think that their voice was needed. Their voice was important. That's prejudiced. No, it's not. Let's sue each other until we burn this whole place down. 50, 60 years. This is the Texas Observer reported and covered the Kennedy assassination. I mean, my God. The Texas Observer is no more. Here's what I predict, though. There's a lot of really good writers, a lot of really good investigative reporters, a lot of really good dedicated people there. It'll be back. It'll be back. Whatever this is, they got to kill it. They got to go into bankruptcy. They got to do whatever they do. And then some new people will come in and they'll reform it and it'll be a new Texas Observer and whatever. But there'll probably be a year or two for that. It's not like it's going to happen right away. All right, that's all I got as far as stuff that I have been working on here. Let's see what's the latest out of Nashville. Do we have anything new here? At least 7 dead, including 3 kids, after a female shooter opens fire at Nashville Christian Elementary School. Okay, so we don't have any new information on the school shooting that occurred today in Nashville. Covenant School, just outside Nashville. 7 people are dead, including the shooter. Shooter, curiously enough, being described as a teen girl armed with 2 ARs and a pistol. So there we have that. All right, guys. Well, you know what we'll do? Let's jump over to the trends. We'll see really quickly. Yeah, Nashville. Lamar is trending at number 2. What happened? Did he re-sign? Did he get traded? Where's Lamar Jackson? Lamar has put out a letter to his fans. Okay, so this is what Lamar Jackson has posted. A letter to my fans. I want to first thank you all for all the love and support you consistently showed towards me. All of you are amazing, and I appreciate y'all so much. I want you all to know not to believe everything you read about me. Let me personally answer your questions. In regards to my future plans, as of March 2nd, I requested a trade from the Ravens organization for which the Ravens has not been interested in meeting my value. And oh, Lamar, what did you do? Is this bad punctuation or am I just stupid? For which the Ravens has not been interested in meeting my value. Any and everyone that has met me or been around me know I love the game of football, and my dream is to help the team. Well, my guy went on. Help the team win the Super Bowl. You all are great, but I had to make a business decision that was best for my family and I. No matter how far I go or where my career takes me, I'll continue to be close to my fans of Baltimore, Flock Nation, and the entire state of Maryland. You'll see me again. All right. So what does that mean? That he just did Lamar Jackson? So there's no news. Lamar Jackson just put out something to his fans in Baltimore, which to me suggests that he ain't coming back. Although I 100% believe he's coming back. All right, so right now, everything that's trending, much of it has to do with the shooting. Uvalde is now trending. Mavericks are trending. What's going on with the Mavericks? What's happening here? What is going on? Are we, All right, that's going to do it. It's going to do it for today's show, folks. Join us tonight. Tonight for Pugs and Parker, 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Conversational. This is more informational. We'll do some conversational stuff tonight with Pugs and Parker. Join us. Tip the show if you can. We run on your gratuities. Thank you so much to the people who have tipped this much. We've only gotten 3 people that have tipped this much. 2 of them came this weekend. So thank you. Thank you for a nice little something. Drop a little, in the coffers. What's going on here? Why isn't this working? There we go. Got to put the sound up. That's too loud. Help me to be strong. Train to be the best. All right, there we go. That's still a little loud for me to talk over. Bring it down a little. All right. Drop a little tip in the bucket. Come on. Don't be an a-hole. Come on. Drop a little something. A little something. Treat me like I'm your bartender. Treat me like I'm your whatever. I'm teasing. I appreciate you. Trying to think what we have coming up tonight. Got a little hot on the mic there. I pinned him. I pinned into the Reds. Poor mic technique just there. Tonight I put an invite out to Jasmine. I contacted Jasmine on texted her, "Hey girl, you're up. Let's go. You're supposed to be on tonight. Been a week since you said you'd come on the show. Now let's come on, be on the show." I'd like to interview Jasmine about 105.3. We need more. I mean, we've had Kelly and we've had Sybil. We need the women to be accounted for. There were a number of women who saw a lot of things. All right. On the road I'll travel. Say a prayer, if that's a thing that you do, for those parents and outside Nashville. That's the worst. Oh, my God. All right, folks. Love you. We'll see you soon. Tonight, 9 o'clock. That's when we'll see you. Not soon. Tonight, 9 o'clock. Bye. I can smile.